I've stopped doing the fun, extra office stuff after I didn't like the way my boss handled something. Am I the a-hole? I guess background is important, and sorry it's long. My job performance is exceptional. I meet every necessary mark 100% of the time, and have done so for the last 10 years. Maybe an odd month or two in there due to travel and things that would make it impossible. I've also stepped up and carried the load for coworkers when things have come up, to ensure our area isn't dinged for performance issues. Clients get along well with me. I've never had a complaint filed against me, etc. You get the idea. I'm also known for doing all the holiday decorating, coordinating the gifts for office celebrations, baking the desserts, writing formal thank yous from our department, and making holiday baskets to help maintain positive relationships with the other agencies we work with. A couple of months back, there was a policy change, and none of us were happy about it. I made the best of a bad situation and adapted to the change immediately. My coworkers did as well, but they all called me to complain and vent. This is normal. We tend to complain amongst ourselves for one good bitch session, and then just say, it is what it is, and continue to work hard and not complain again. Here's where the issue is. While one of my coworkers was venting, my boss was eavesdropping, selectively, on my side of the conversation, as that's what he could hear. I was commiserating with them, but also pointing out how it wouldn't be that bad, that it's in our contract, and how we can make it fun or less obnoxious, etc., etc., etc. We hung up, and I didn't think about it further, especially since neither of us really said anything that you wouldn't expect an employee to say with the kind of change they were implementing. It was pretty damn tame. I didn't think about it again until my boss called me in a few days later to do an employee evaluation in response to it. In every review I've had here, I've always hit exceeds expectations in nearly every category. He cut me down to meets expectations on everything. He reamed me for my attitude, for not cutting my coworker off and letting them vent. He told me I should have told them to call him. He accused me of being negative or a negative influence and said that if he didn't nip it in the bud now, it could fester and create a toxic work environment. I was, and still am, pretty mad about it. Coworkers should be allowed to vent to each other without it being treated like this. After this, as you may have guessed, I'm just not in the mood to head up everything extra I'd been doing to make the office environment fun. I keep my door closed when he's here. I didn't bring dessert for the March birthday lunch. That lunch isn't mandatory, but I didn't want more problems, so I went and just sat quietly the entire time. Now there's another appreciation week or month for one of the departments we work with, and there's been an email chain about cards/gifts. I responded with the amount I'll contribute and asked who I should send it to. People are noticing I'm not picking this stuff up, and that chain has gone in a circle for days now, and I'm not budging. One person approached me about it, and I just said I don't have the time to take it on right now. I guess I'm feeling like all the stuff I did on the regular to foster a positive work environment got thrown out, or was never appreciated because I lent an ear to a coworker and then got viciously reprimanded for it. Like, what's the point of 10 years of going out of my way gets thrown out just like that? Am I the a-hole for just quietly stepping out of all of these extras due to my feelings on how this was handled? Am I being overly petty? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The boss, as the kids called it, faffoed. Venting is typically a positive and necessary thing, as long as it's handled appropriately, and it sounds like you were that appropriate bottleneck and sounding board. He was extremely stupid to not allow you to explain the situation to him. Stand your ground. Just keep it light, sweet, and my workload is preventing me from keeping up with those extra tasks about it all. Thank you. I did try to explain it to him when he was marking me down. The real irony is, he was sitting there calling me a potential negative toxic presence that was going to ruin team morale the day after I had just handed out handmade valentines to my other teammates. It never fails, does it? They're such idiots. Don't stress. This guy is obviously too dumb to get it. The beauty is, anyone with half a brain is going to know why you backed off on the extra little fun stuff, and no one will blame you. They'll blame him. And guess what? That's going to add up. You might not still be there to see the karmic avalanche, but it will catch up with him. Not the a-hole. You might want to start looking for a new job. Your boss seems to be the type to have the attitude the beatings will continue until morale improves. He may end up firing you to nip it in the bud and set the other employees straight. Oh, that's the thing. I love this job. It's a good one, and one of the few that still has a union. He wouldn't be able to terminate me unless I actually did something crazy or consistently not meet my matrix. Can you talk to your union representative about what happened here? I could, but I'm holding off unless he tries to take it further than this. My actual review is up in a few months, and if that goes like this again with how good my performance is, I will be. Next story. Am I the a-hole for rage quitting after I lost an election? I, 28 female, have been a member of a large volunteer organization for several years. I am one of the longest-standing members. I have spent hundreds of hours on various aspects of it, held small leadership positions in almost every area, and have a large amount of experience being the president of another organization as well. When I first joined, things were not going well, so I, along with others, worked our butts off to improve that. And we did. In fact, we did so well with improving the atmosphere that we had a massive number of incoming members who quickly became very close with each other. Something we specifically encouraged, and have absolutely no idea how bad things used to be or how much behind-the-scenes work it takes to maintain the way things are now. I ran for president in the most recent election. I ran against 5 other candidates. 4 of us had years of experience and had been preparing our campaigns for months or years. One person, let's call them Alex, was extremely new, a few weeks, had 0 experience at all, decided to run at the last minute, and had a very large friend group of other new members. Alex was barely allowed to run due to how new they were, but made the cut by a handful of days. You can see where this is going. It was extremely close between me and Alex, and I lost by 1 vote. The rest of the elected officials were all new members, from the same friend group, also without experience. Then, it was discovered that 9 to 10 votes, specifically the votes of other people in leadership positions who worked closely with me, were not counted. This was not intentional or malicious, just a computer error. Apparently, every single one of them voted for me. I technically won. They tried to get the election results overturned because of it, but higher-ups would not allow it because they feared it would look like favoritism. At the end of the day, I was told to keep quiet and not let anyone know about this. That brings me to my current situation. Because nobody on the new executive team has any experience, I started facing a lot of pressure to take on a lower leadership position solely to guide them and ensure our hard work doesn't go to hell. I absolutely refused. In fact, I've decided to drop all leadership roles and do absolutely nothing this year. This has led to multiple people telling me that I don't truly care about the organization, that I'll be responsible if it falls apart, etc. I feel like it's a slap in the face to expect me to do what a president does, without the title to show for it. Am I the a-hole for dropping all leadership positions and letting the new team do whatever the heck they want to do? Not the a-hole if you do an actual handover. Give them a document or a spreadsheet noting what things need to be done for the position you've just vacated. Point them in the direction of where previous meeting minutes, financial details and requirements, etc. can be found. Maybe schedule of events that are typically run through the year. Then you can leave with a clear conscience. I'd recommend leaving the organization entirely and finding something else to spend your energy on. I tried, and it was actually the final straw for me. I scheduled a meeting with the new elected president to transfer all of my information to them, and they stood me up. Didn't call, didn't text. I waited 45 minutes. I reached out in an attempt to plan a different meeting with them afterwards, but they made no effort to follow through with it. I just stopped trying after that. You have a paper trail showing you should have won, and they refuse to change it because they're cowards. You also have a paper trail showing you gave more than a fair effort in handing things off in order for everything to run smoothly. Don't let anyone guilt you into doing all the work and getting none of the credit. Like people have been saying in here, there are other organizations who would be more than happy to have someone like you. I was promised the next promotion was mine and coming soon. I had been operating in a temporary role for almost a year and had 8 years with the company. The next opening came up, and a woman who had been with the company for 2 months in another district put in a transfer and was given the role at my location, working for my mentor. I was asked to train her. That night, I put in applications for other companies. By the end of the week, I put in my notice. Transfer girl lasted 4 months. Not the a-hole. They can reap what they've sown. I personally would make it clear that all the votes were not counted. You were asked to stay quiet and asked to essentially do the work of the position behind the scenes with no recognition. We don't know what the organization is, but there are often several organizations with similar missions and several ways to be in service of that mission. OP could also start her own nonprofit, and she may find others from her past who are willing to follow. Same thing happened to me. I talked with the VP of a company, so much I even knew about her college roommate. We moved to Florida for the job because all we need is the rubber stamp of approval from the big boss when he gets back from his trip. He came back with a resume for the daughter of his college buddy, who had just graduated from high school but had behind-the-scenes experience as a stage manager, compared to my 2 degrees and 20-plus years of experience. I knew there was no way the OG roadie types would stand for an inexperienced teenager being their boss, and I was right. Within 3 months, I saw ads in the trades for every single position at that company. 3 months after that, they were out of business. Next story. Am I the a-hole? I told my boss about another employee's child. The employee was fired. I, 25, was hired in a small office. There are 10 of us in the entire company, including our boss. I share a room with 5 of these people. Our boss rarely shows up for work. I've been here since January, and in that time, she's always been sick, working from home or sending her son. That said, the job itself wasn't bad, apart from one coworker. We work Monday to Friday. They brought their daughter to the office at least 4 times a week. Their daughter is 6, and honestly, she was annoying. She always runs around the office, sometimes leaves the room and then starts banging on the door. You can't open it without a card. When we're on the phone, she can come up to us and fight for the phone or scream in our ear. She also took things from my desk a few times and refused to give them back. This is my second job, so I was confused. I asked other coworkers about it, but they said it was normal and not to worry. I asked this particular employee about it. They told me that our boss let them do it and basically ignored all my concerns and complaints. In mid-February, my boss came into the office. During a break, I had a quick, "How are you doing?" conversation with her, and during that time, I admitted that the employee's daughter was irritating me a bit. She was confused. She asked me what I meant. At first, I didn't understand what was wrong, so I said, "She can be very loud sometimes." My boss continued to look at me, confused. This coworker brings his daughter here? And now I was confused too. I said something like, "I was told that's fine." The boss didn't give me any answer, ended the conversation, and left. Nothing happened that day or for the rest of the month, but in early March, the coworker showed up at the office, stating that the boss had just fired them. They cried, telling us that our boss was monitoring their behavior and that she ignored all their hard work just because they brought a child here. Everyone in the office was upset and tried to comfort them while wondering who had told her. Somehow, I managed to pretend it wasn't me and agreed when they assumed it was the boss's son who told her. But when I got home and told my partner and friends and then my parents, most of them sided with the employee and said I should have never mentioned it and that I should have read the room. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Once, one of the cleaning ladies didn't have childcare and brought her 2 children to our office. Our boss asked me if I could print some coloring pages for them. They sat in a corner silently coloring while their mother worked. A week later, she thanked us for it and told me her kids loved the stuffed animals on my desk. I gave them to her to give to the kids because they were so sweet and behaved so well. My mom was single and raising us 2 kids in the 70s to 80s. There was a time or two when I'd be in the office with her. A lot of the programmers had kids, so they designed something to create maze puzzles. Mom would print a few, hand them to me, and I'd go to town on it for hours as it was really complex. Then when I was done, I'd flip the sheet over and color. My mom would have slaughtered us if we'd misbehaved. I worked at a truck stop as a fuel side cashier. Had to take my oldest, 2 through 3-year-old, in until my mom got out of school for an hour. There was a cubby spot right behind my register that my boss, who didn't have kids, made into a little fort for her. He put a big pillow cushion thing, a blanket, toys and books, and a curtain she could close. He put a light in there too. After she was done with it, other co-workers' kids used it. It's still there and kept up nicely 30 years later. My old boss doesn't have children. You did right. Working under those deceitful conditions could only lead to bigger trouble. You nipped at the bud. It's behind you now. Enjoy your work environment. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not paying my friend back for something I never asked for? This happened like a week ago, and it's still awkward. My friend and I were at the mall just walking around, and we stopped by one of those little skincare booths. The lady was doing free hand scrubs or whatever, and I was just standing there letting her try it on me because it smelled nice. My friend was super into it though, asking a million questions. I said I wasn't buying anything and even stepped away a little, but while I was looking at a display, my friend ended up buying 2 of the scrubs. They were like $35 each. Cool, whatever. But then as we were leaving, she handed me one and was like, "Here, I got one for you too." I literally said, "Wait, what? Why?" And she just shrugged and went, "I know you liked it. It's no big deal." I said thanks, but also told her she didn't have to do that. Now fast forward to yesterday. She texts me like, "Hey, can you send me $35 for that scrub when you get a chance?" I was confused and said, "I thought you were treating me." And she goes, "Well, I didn't think. I'd have to pay for both. I assumed you'd sell me later." What? I didn't ask for it. I didn't agree to it. And she literally said, "It's no big deal." I told her nicely that I'm not paying for something I didn't want in the first place. Now she's acting like I'm taking advantage of her and says she wouldn't have bought it if she knew I wouldn't pay her back. So now I feel weird. I didn't want it. I didn't ask. But I also don't want to seem ungrateful. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, but if you haven't used it yet, offer to give it back to her. But it's a weird thing for her to do. You were right there and would have bought it if you wanted it, and you explicitly said you weren't buying anything. She doesn't get to decide that you are spending money. Yeah, I hope she will take it back since I don't need it, and I didn't even ask for it. Just to be clear, you don't have to give her either the money or the item, but offering her the scrub as a gesture of goodwill, even though she gave it to you as a gift, is a nice thing to do. Not the a-hole. Your friend is being totally weird. Why would she think you would pay her back for it? If you wanted to buy one, you would have done it then and there. Her reasoning makes 0 sense. You didn't buy one from the lady selling them, but for some reason you will buy one from your friend? Give the scrub back to her. She can have 2. She is being ridiculous. Yeah, I told my friends that and they said the same. Like it's just super weird.